When we talk about load optimization, we're talking about intensity, volume, and density. These are the variables we're going to use and manipulate as we design our training load.
Because what a training load is, it's just the work that you do. The pounds you lifted, the reps that you've done, that's the external load. And then there's the internal load, how your body responds to it, things like your heart rate. We have to track both.
Absolutely. So the intensity within kettlebell context, it's the weight of the kettlebell or how close you push to failure, your repetition max. In swings, the power you generate or your heart rate also describes that internal load that you were talking about. Volume is the amount of work we do. This can be measured in total reps, total pounds or kilograms lifted. So volume is basically how much work we're doing.
You got it.
Density is the amount of work done per unit of time, usually measured within the kilograms, the pounds, the reps that we get done in a particular work time. A minute, 10 seconds, whatever the case may be.
And what we need to do is we're going to find these loading parameters that are optimal. Now, what is optimal? In engineering, optimal is a solution that enables you to meet all the requirements, but do it at minimal cost. And that's something we got to do with training as well. What people don't realize is when they flood their body with lactic acid, ammonia, all this other nonsense, they create a very high biological cost. It takes a lot for the body to recover from. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to find just that exact load that make you stronger without getting you smoked. So what is this load? So volume, intensity, so on. First of all, volume has to be substantial. All these high intensity, low volume programs are so fashionable, but the fact is Soviet scientists, they established beyond the shadow of a doubt, such programs, they lead to gains that are unstable and short term. They're just like crash diets, that's what they are. So yeah, this is the cabbage soup diet for you. So second, the intensity, that has to hit the sweet spot as well. Not too low, not too high. If you go too low, it's not going to make the impression on the body. If you go too high, you're going to rapidly burn out, or you're just not going to be able to do the sufficient volume of work. There's a myth that you always should push yourself as hard as possible, always have 100% intensity. If you look at top powerlifters, they go all out twice a year, once at the Nationals, once at the Worlds. Top kettlebell lifters typically do most of their work with 80-85% of their max reps if they train for endurance. So most of your training should be described as comfortably hard.
So you're saying we should train easy all the time?
No. What I say is this is training and then there's peaking. See, when you're training, you're building strength, you're building endurance, you're building your long-term progress. But when you're peaking, let's say in the last month before the competition, the athlete would sharply increase the intensity. A lifter will increase the weight closer to max. An endurance athlete would increase the heart rate. And what this type of training, this high intensity training does, is in a period of a few weeks, it mobilizes the resources of the body, it mobilizes the resources of the mind. So you are able to post a very high performance in a very short time window. Because peak, by definition, it's not something you can sustain. You peak and then you drop off. So again, high intensity training, it's peaking. And peaking, just like a crash diet, it brings you to a high level for a very short period of time.
You know, the load optimization, I was asked once what my favorite recovery strategy was, and I said proper programming. Because if you've programmed yourself appropriately, you're not worried about your recovery. You are recovering and benefiting from your training. Hitting that load optimization, making sure we're not burning that engine too hot, we really get great results at a low cost.